Okie dokie. I'm going to show you, this is going to be a long video. I just finished a bike brick, so I'm hot and sweaty. And I'm wearing bike shorts, although I have a run tank on, so there's that. But I'm going to show you how I would change this tire. And the thing that I want you to get from this is not that changing a tire is easy or that it's simple, but that you have the skills and the tools to do it, and if you commit yourself, you can get it done. Sometimes changing a tire is very frustrating. There are tough tires, and rim combinations is definitely true, but you know, having the confidence that you think you can do it out on the race course is a really big deal. It made a difference for me. Okay, so I've got my tire here. We're pretending that it's flat. I'm actually going to flatten it, which if you have a tire that's like partially flat, this is something that you would do. You would flatten it all the way. This is the rear tire from my trainer, so it's been sitting in the garage. Okay, so you're going to check the tire and just look to see if you know what's going on. And you also, and this is something that when I started putting this together, I realized I don't always do. If your tire has been sitting around for a long time, or it's an old tire, so you check to see if you can see where the debris is. It can get stuck to the rim on the inside. Okay, so now you're going to remove the tire from the rim. Okay, so I checked for debris, which there isn't any because it's not really a flat tire. But if you can know where the hole is and deal with that, that's very helpful. I'm going to stand up because probably you would not be standing, you would not be sitting. Alright, so then you are going to use your tire lever to separate the tire from the rim. Okay, so you have two tire levers. People have strong opinions about tire levers. My advice is to think of them like any other tool and use them as you need them. So you can put two in, or sometimes you can very quickly move the lever through and it will pop the tire out. They're designed with these hooks on them, right? So that's how you hook them on. Okay, so it comes and it hooks onto this hook. And then you take that little space and you use it to work the rest of the tire up. And what happens is once you get a little bit, enough of it, it becomes very easy. You've done that. Okay, and then you go all the way around. And like I said, frequently you can do that with one lever. Okay. So you can see here where some of the rubber is flaking because it's an old tire. Yesterday I was demonstrating this and I was going to use my husband's bike, and I ended up with a very, very tight wire bead tire, which took me forever to change. And I will put that together in a blooper video because it's important. Okay, so we're going to go, if you have a super tight tire, this is even more important. We're going to pull the tube out. If you have a loose tire like this, you can grab it from where the valve is, but if you don't, you come over here and you get it. Okay? If it's a super tight tire, that is more of a process. Okay? A little bit of a tip. The hole in the rim lines up with the center of the brand. Okay, that's what they do. That helps you figure out if you have where something is happening inside the tube in the tire. Alright, so you're going to take this out. See? Okay, so you're going to take this out. And when you've got it flat on the road, it's a good idea to try and figure out where the flat happened and why, right? And then very, very carefully check for debris inside the tire and the rim, okay? The rim tape can be damaged and cause future punctures. All of those things, just carefully go through and try and figure it out. One of the things that I want to stress with this process is that even if you are totally in a rush, if this happens in a race, it is better to take your time and stay calm as you go through this and go through the steps than it is to rush through it, because you're going to skip things that would cause future things, okay, future problems, right? So if you take your time and take 10 or 15 minutes to change the flat, that is still less time than getting flat, changing it, and flatting again 5 minutes later, okay? All right, so you check carefully for debris. If there's anything in there, it can be a teeny tiny little thing, and you check and you go from there, right? I do not carry a patch kit. I don't, right? This is my new tube, which would be over there, right? But this is a perfectly valid tube, so I'm just going to put it back in. And I know where the valve goes because it lines up right here. Okay? So you put this back in, right? And you work the tire. You work the tire in. Okay, so, or you work the tube in, sorry. So this is something that massively confused me when I started, okay? You are just loosely fitting it into the tire, okay? You're not setting it perfectly, right? It helps to do this with a little bit of air in the tire, actually, and this one, mine still, with a little bit of air in the tube, mine still has a little bit of air, right? And actually, if you watch a lot of British videos about changing flats, they fill it all the way up. Okay, so one of the reasons I'm doing this way, and one of the reasons that, even though I'm not the best example of changing a tire, one of the reasons that I'm doing this way is that one of the things that drives me crazy about tire changing videos is when they are done by people who are really, really good at it, and it's really, really fast, and they make it look really, really simple, and they're standing in a mechanic shop with access to things like a chair, compressed air, a table, you know, all of those things. Okay, so, and I have not gotten that, so I'm sorry if this is a little bit boring, but hopefully it reassures you that it can be done. Also, there is a thing, which is that it's sometimes not awesome to learn how to do something from somebody who is so good at it that they can't remember what it was like for it to be hard. And you see that with everything, so there's that. Okay, so now I've put the tube back in, and now what we're going to do is we're going to reseed the tire, okay? And we're going to check for a pinch, and we're going to inflate the tire. So these tires have tubes in them, and one of the weird things about cycling, and I didn't do this and I don't understand it, tires that have tubes in them are actually called clinchers, and then tubeless tires, yeah, so tubular tires, sorry, don't have any tubes in them. Okay, these are clinchers. They have this little bead on them, and there's a matching space inside the rim that goes together. Okay, so what you do is you start across from the valve, and you're just rolling the bead inside the rim. We call it seating the rim. Okay, it sits, right? So you sort of squeeze it into the middle, which is the most narrow part of the rim, and then it drops in behind, okay? And you're watching as you do this. You don't want to see the tube under your thumb, right? You just want to be put in, because that's how it pinches. A pinched tube happens when the tube is in between the rim and the tire. Okay, so you squeeze it and roll it in. Okay, now, this next thing that happens, right, is that at the end of this process, there is a section of this where it appears that the tire is not big enough to go around the rim. This is a phenomenon that happens with every tire. The tighter the tire, this one's actually not bad, it's just this little space. And the tighter the tire, the bigger the space would be. The one I was working on yesterday, a metal beaded tire, was like, it was huge. I just was so stuck. This will make you question your life choices. Mechanics that have insanely strong hands can do this just with their thumbs, okay? But other people cannot. And don't take this personally. Really don't, okay? So I have a couple tips. One is to start back over here and to, again, just like you would with a wetsuit, this makes a surprising amount of difference, and I was surprised. Just work your way around, moving it to the middle, and when you get to the end, you might gain, right? You might gain another like 1/2 inch, or like, see, I got really, really close there. I might actually be able to flip this all the way up. There it goes. Look at that. That's all that, okay? This is a pretty easy tire to change, actually. The other thing that I learned, and I learned this from a mechanic, is that when your thumbs are not working, use the palm of your hand as that. So hold it here where it's going and use this to roll it in. And the last thing I want to say is that a lot of people will say not to use the levers to get that last section in. And I want to say that if you are stuck and you don't have the strength or whatever to do that, that is bunk. That is total bunk, and you should ignore that and you should use your levers, okay? Because all you're doing is using a tool to accomplish it. And people will tell you that you are more likely to get a pinch if you do that. And I'm going to show you how to check for a pinch, because I don't think that's true. So you don't want to jab the lever in if you're doing that. Let me see if I can pull it back out and show you how I would use. Right, so you're not going to do that, but what you can do is you can just put the lever in as the lip and literally just use it as a lever. Use it for what it's designed to help you work it in. Don't be afraid to use the tools that you have, okay? Don't be afraid. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to check to see if it's pinched. I told you that when you get a pinch, the tube is here, okay? And that's not good. So you want to check both sides as you go around the tire. This takes like 15 seconds, right? And it's so worth the time it takes. And just look to make sure that you don't see the tube peeking out. That's it, right? Just check, right? And then you know that your little rubber tube, or whatever the tubes are made of, is not in between. And it's a tight fit at the valve, but that is the #1 place where it gets pinched. Now we're going to inflate. Okay, this is the inflator, okay? Let's see, it says open and closed. So now it's closed and then it's open. We'll see. Okay. This is the inflator. One of these should be one tire's worth of things. Each inflator is different. You want to be aware of how yours works. They have these threaded sections, and just like your, what is this? That is super interesting. Okay. Just like the old, I'm going to stop talking. Each one of these works a little different. So you go until it punctures, and then see if this is how this works. These get really, really cold when you inflate. Okay, they make little carriers actually, but just be ready. Right, so you can see the frost, and they do get stuck on. Right. So it just sort of froze itself onto the valve. Which is fun. Okay. Tighten it back up. And it's full. Okay, there you go. You can see the frost on there. It's very, very cold. CO2 does tend to leak out a little bit. Not in a ride, but over time. Most people recommend that you would go home and pump this up with a floor pump. Let the CO2 out. I don't usually remember to do that, but I check my tires before every ride. So that's that. You're going to put it back onto your bike and continue on your ride. You're going to clean up all of your stuff, and that is how, my friends, we change a flat tire by Amy. I hope that's helpful. Have a wonderful day. If you have any questions, let me know. There is a downloadable file that you can print out and put in your flat pack and carry with you with these steps that I have from my website, amysaysso.com. Thanks for watching.